Hello guys, good evening. Once again, I welcome you guys to the last day of this sheet to edit class. Just want to say thank you for staying with us. Thank you for your passion, your hunger, for still staying and waiting till the last day. Today there will be no much talk. It's straight to edit to continue from where we stopped last on the day 2 class. So from now we're switching to the laptop. So turn on your laptop. I will be taking this from the beginning again. I know probably there might be some people that did not watch the day 2 video, so just follow me. I will be starting the edits from the beginning again, but there are so many nuggets on the day 2 video that you need to go and listen to. In fact, if you're just watching this day 3 video and you haven't watched the day 2 video, please pause the video now, go back to day 2 and continue watching from there. Thank you. Now let's go over to our laptops. Now first thing, what do? You open Photoshop. Now Photoshop is opening, it's loading. Now for most of us that is opening Photoshop for the first time, for the very first time, all this part that you see my mouse hovering around having pictures is going to be blank. That shows you don't have any previous projects, but this has been previous project I've been working on, pictures of clients. Now there are two ways you can do this. If you should click open, it's going to take you to your folder, to your computer folder, to select pictures. There's another way you can do it to import pictures, is you drag your picture into Photoshop. Now watch. Now go to my folder where I have the picture I want to edit. Now I click on the picture I want to edit and take to Photoshop. I drag it up. You can see where I'm dragging it up. Then I leave it. It's loading. Then it's on what? On Photoshop itself. Camera Raw is like a plugin in Photoshop that is meant to attend to raw pictures, that is meant to process raw pictures before being opened in Photoshop. That is why this picture didn't go direct into Photoshop. It went first to Camera Raw. So that is why it is essential to shoot your pictures on RAW. So let me show you an example what I mean now. If I should close this picture, let's choose cancel. I close this picture. Let me drag in a JPEG file. Any JPEG. Now let me drag in this JPEG file. Now the JPEG file just opened directly into Photoshop. You can see it. It opened how? Directly into Photoshop without without going through Camera Raw. So because we don't want to edit on JPEG, reason why we don't want to edit a JPEG file compared to a raw file is that a raw file gives you more flexibility of colors. It gives you more flexibility of contrast. So if you're a person that loves color grading, that loves making all those slight adjustments, that likes working towards perfection, I won't use the word that wants to be perfect. I will use that likes working towards what? Perfection. It is always best to work with what? Raw pictures. No matter the size, try your possible best to shoot on what? On raw. It gives you so much flexibility. So for that sake, I'm going to close this JPEG and I will open the raw. I'm opening the raw now. Picture now. Shooting on raw, you can see that this picture looks desaturated. It's not having that much contrast. So it's giving you the ability to add colors, remove colors, make your picture just, you know, just okay and fine as you wish. So without further much ado, let's look at the picture now. If, like, there's not much adjustment that should be done here. It's properly littered. This headshot was properly littered. Under the shin is not dark. The hand is not dark. So the cap is looking like it's too whitish. So you just go to your highlight, you drop down your highlight, you go to your white, you drop down your white a little bit. You must not take it down. No. Just a little bit till you feel that it's okay for you. Till you feel that is what is okay for you. And the exposure now. Now what's the function of exposure now? Brightening and what? And darkens your image. So that's the function of exposure. I'm not going to touch that because what? The picture is properly exposed. Then the blacks. You can explore this slider by dragging it in and out to see the effect it's going to give to you. But to me, I feel that my blacks is okay. If there's anything I'm going to do to the black, it's going to be when I've opened it in Photoshop. I don't do much on camera raw. I do much, maybe grading and all that. I do much on what? On Capture One. I do much on Capture One. So this is your texture. Increase a little to increase sharpness and all that. And after that, you click your what? Open. And your picture is open into Photoshop. Your picture is open into Photoshop. Now, as earlier said in the previous video, the second day video, how do I work on my pictures? I separate my image from the what? Background. So that's the first thing I will do first, by separating this image from the what? Background. First step. And before doing that, as I explained to you in the last class, always duplicate your background layer. This is the background, which is just having only one layer. Always duplicate it. Reason being that in case you start working here on this first background and maybe you spoil the picture, that means you have to close the picture and start importing it back. Whereas if you have the background picture, you can just duplicate and do what? And you start working all over again. So what do? I duplicate, then I find a way to separate my background from my image, or my image from the background. So what's next? I go into selection. And I will select my image. You see the way I'm moving? This quick selection tool is still pressed down, like my left part of my mouse is clicked down. It's clicked down, and I'll be moving it. This is a beginners friendly course, so we are explaining everything from a beginner standpoint. So now when you've gotten to this point, probably this part, let me ask you to now is selecting the background. Are you seeing it? So at this point where it fails you, you have to do it manually. You come to your third tool. Please, I've explained all this toolbar. You can go back to day 2 video where I explain all this, the toolbar, the properties bar, the title bar. and the rest. Go back and watch the day 2 video for what? For easy understanding. So I will come to polygonal lasso tool to manually select it myself. Now this one is more like so manual. I'm selecting. Now you see what I'm doing? That's how you're gonna do till all these little complicated parts that Photoshop fails to select on its own using the quick selection tool. You have to use the polygonal tool to manually do it. This is one way of selecting your pictures. Now I'm going to cancel this selection and go into another way of selecting your pictures. It looks more like a Photoshop AI. So I will come to select. Are you seeing it? I'll go to the title bar, click on select, and choose what? Select subject. That's one way. Or you click on quick selection tool and click on what? Select subject. And Photoshop will automatically select the subject from the background for you. Hope you're seeing it. Now you can go through the edges to make sure that Photoshop did a nice work, and any mistake done by Photoshop, you manually what? Correct it yourself with this method. Now you can see this hair. There's a way that we can include this hair to the subject, but not now. Let's proceed. I'm going through the edges to make sure that Photoshop did not allow any part of it outside. Now, after I'm going to fast forward this. This is how you do it. I'm going to fast forward this. Okay. Oh, I'm done. There's no point fast forwarding. So after selecting the subject, now you can see that the selection is on the subject. Now you need to invert this selection by going to the title bar, clicking select. Then you do what? Select what? Inverse. After selecting inverse, what does it mean now? Now you can see that the selection is on the background, not on the what? Subject anymore. You click on select and what? And max. Now this is the point where you include the hair from the eyebrow, the eyelids, the mustache, and all that. Now you click on this. Are you seeing this brush? Are you seeing this brush? You brush like that through the mustache, through the beards. What are you doing? You are including this beard to the what? To the subject. Because if we don't do this, this beard is going to be part of the background, which is not supposed to be so. The beard is part of the subject. So that of the eye, that of the eyebrow, and all that. You go back to his hair behind and you include it. If he was meant to wear a furry clothes that has hair at their tip, you have to do the same to the clothes as well. So I think I'm done. Now you come to these properties. You click on decontaminate color. You click on decontaminate color, and probably if the first time you are opening this output setting, you click on this drop down arrow and you see this output, so new layer with layer mask. There are other options: new layer, layer mask, new document, layer mask. But what are you choosing? You're choosing new layer with layer what? Max. That's good. Now after then you click what? Okay. As we'll be going further, I will be explaining some of these things to you. because if I choose to explain everything, you might forget when we get to that point. So now this part of Photoshop carries what? Layers. What are layers? These are, how do I call it? As the name implies, layers. These are a way in which you can work on your image parts by parts, bit by bit. Is a way device, or is a way Photoshop has given us the ability to work on an image bit by bit. Maybe you want to attend to the eye, attend to the leg, attend to the cloth, attend to the hair. You can do this bit by bit by creating different layers. Maybe this is the layer for the hair, layer for the eye, so that the adjustment you make on the hair layer is not going to appear on the adjustment you make on the what? Eye layer. Because if you are to do all adjustments on one layer, probably the hair layer, that means the adjustment is going to appear on the eye, appear on the teeth, appear on every part of the image. But once you want it to appear maybe only on the hair, you create a different layer. You want it to appear only on this part, you create a different layer, so that you'll be able to confine it to that what? To that point. So that's the essence of layers. We have channel, we have parts, we'll come to that. So now you can see the layers now. This is the new layer created by what? Photoshop. Now how do I know that Photoshop has successfully removed, I've successfully separated my background from my image? Now if I should open the first layer, what am I having? I'm having just the background without the image on it. Now look at that point that we refined. Now you can see how beautiful it is. During refining, we've been able to remove this hair. Look at it. We've been able to remove this hair to the image. Now let's go to the second layer. The second layer carries the what? The picture. The image rather. The second layer carries what? The image. And the third layer is just like a duplicate, as I've explained earlier. Now how do I work? This is my workflow. I'll first of all attend to the background. I will do what? Attend to the what? Background. So I will go to my layer, to my background layer. Let me rename it just background. How did I rename it? I double tap, I double click on the name, and it gave me the ability to do what? To rename just background. Then I'll click on this one, double tap on it and rename it image. Then let me go to just background. Now I will, now it's just background, right? So this is what I will do now. I will duplicate it. Reason being that I have explained earlier, in case I spoil this, I will have something to come back to. That's why I'm duplicating. Not in case I spoiled it, I spoiled this background or I messed it up. I will start going back to that whole process of selecting your image and all that and all that. So to avoid those kind of things, what do? You what? You duplicate. Ctrl J. Ctrl J for duplicating. Now what do I want to do now? Let me explain something to you. You see this one that is called image, this layer that is called image is just the thumbnail of the image that is showing. Likewise that of the background. But now look at this one that is called just background and just background copy. It's having a thumbnail that is what? White and black. What is it called? This is called what? A mask. A what? A mask. A layer mask. What is this layer mask doing? What is the function of this layer mask? What this layer mask is doing is actually interpreting the image thumbnail, which is this one, is interpreting it. So what is the interpretation like? It's telling you that All this part that is white, this layer mask part that is white, is that part of the image that is what? That is showing. Then this part that is black is that part of the image that is what? That is not showing, is hidden. Let's prove it and see. Let's close all the layers. Now you see, this white side is what? Is that part of the image that is showing. Are you seeing it? The background that is showing. The black side is the image that is there, is what? Is hidden. Now do you know that we okay, now let me prove it to you. If we choose to inverse it, Control I, now you've seen it. Now are you seeing it? Now this white side is the image, is not showing. Why the background is what? Is black, is not showing. It's not black, the black is indicating is hidden. So that is the function of layer mask. Layer mask, you can use it to hide some part of your layers and reveal some part of your what? Layers. Layer mask is beautiful to work with. Let me open all back. So I've inversed it. So remember what I said earlier, I'm duplicating it so that in case I mess up this one, I will have something to fall back and I won't begin from scratch. So let's proceed. So now you have to look at this pattern, follow this pattern, rewatch this video. This process I'm taking now, you have to do it to like 4 to 5 pictures so that you remember this process. Now this is where the whole stuffs begin. You hold your control. Now you hold your control down, click on the layer mask. You will notice something. There's a selection around your what? Your layer, around your background. Are you seeing it? There's a selection around your what? Your background. What then will you do? You inverse it so that the selection will go to your what? To your image. The selection should go about, should be around your what? Image with what? Control what? I. Oh sorry, not Control I. Not Control I. So you do Control Z to go back. Control Z is like take me back. You inverse it with what? Shift Control I. With what? Shift Control what? I. So now the selection is on your image. Now once the selection is on your image, you click on the image thumbnail, not the layer mask thumbnail, the what? Image thumbnail, and you press your delete. Notice something. Notice, look at that image thumbnail. What do you notice? Where the mouse is. Look at that image thumbnail, where the mouse cursor is, where the cursor is. What do you notice as I'm pressing my delete? I'm pressing delete now. Now you can see that I've deleted that part. Now that part is showing you what? A blank what? Canvas. A blank what? Canvas. So I've deleted it. Then I will deselect the selection I've made that is showing on the what? Image. Now this image you are seeing now is not the image on the first layer. Is the image on the next layer and also the next layer that is showing. Now let me prove it to you. Let me close all these eyes. Now you can see that there is no image here anymore. Are you seeing it? Any question you have, drop a comment. I will reply to it. I and my team will reply to it. And also, if you've not joined our WhatsApp community, please do so to join our WhatsApp community. There's a link in the comment section or in the description of this video. Please do well to drop your words to click on it to join our WhatsApp community. So let's go back. I'm done proving. Now what do I have to do? I need to click on that layer I'm working on and choose and deselect the selection from my image. How do I do that? I press Ctrl what? D. Ctrl what? D. And now you can see that the selection is what? Is gone. Now you have successfully separated your background from your image. What do you do? How I work, you see this part of the image. Let me use brush tool. You see this part I'm drawing around, not his mouth. Yeah, this part I'm drawing around, and this other I think this is sellotape from my background. I think so. Yes, it is. So I will have to remove it first by using what we call a clone stamp tool. As the name implies, clone stamp. It clones a particular place and stamp it on a what? On another what? Place. So let me Ctrl Z to remove this blue stuff. I click on S. S is a shortcut for this clone stamp. Look at it. Are you seeing it? Clone stamp. S is the shortcut. Now, if your clone stamp is not showing, right click on this. Right click on it on the tool. You see another one here, pattern stamp tool. It's not pattern stamp tool, is what? Clone stamp tool. Now that part you want to remove, any blemishes on the background, you remove it. Are you seeing it? I'm removing the blemishes on the background. Before I close down, after, now you can see that distraction around his face is out. One thing about picture retouching, I normally tell my students, put in your best. Always be that kind of photographer that want to get it right from camera. Do not be that type of photographer that always tell their client or always tell themselves, I will correct it in what? In post-production. It is wrong. Try your possible best. If you know you can do it in what? In during the shoot, please do it. Don't say I will correct it in what? In post. Reason being that once your work has less distraction, it will be easier for you to finish it up, and your background will not require so much of an edit, correction and all that, which is what? Time wastage, wasting productive time. Now let's go further. How do I want to make my background to what? To be beautiful. Now this is what I do. You click on it, go to filter. Remember, this is called what? The title bar. Go to filter, click what? Blur. Inside blur, you choose what? Gaussian what? Blur. Now some of you, your Gaussian blur could be at 0 or 0.1 or so. Mine is at, you raise it up till you've gotten something. Oh, can you see how crisp, so soft and fluffy this background is? Now you click what? Okay. Oh, sorry. You notice something, that the blurry nature is entering into, now the color, there's been a color spill into the subject mouth and beard. What did we fail to do? We failed to break this link. This is like a household problem, or household causes, ancestral problem. So you must break this link. Look at our layer mark, self is blurred. You must break this link before you do what? before you move to blur your what, your background. So now what do I do now? I will do Ctrl Z, and what do I do next? I will break the link, then I will go back, filter. Gaussian blur is already up. I can just choose it, or I come to blur and choose what, Gaussian blur. Now you can see that there is no spill into his what, his beard anymore. Our layer mask is not what, is not blurry. You click on OK. Before, after, before, after. Now which do you prefer, before or after? For me and my household, we prefer the what, the after. Now you notice something. Previously this sellotape was not showing, no, but as we finished that blurring, that Gaussian blur is now showing. These are some few ways or few steps you can eliminate it back. You can choose to duplicate your background, this background, this, I mean, you can choose to duplicate your layer, this one you're working on. Ctrl J, Ctrl J. You can see as your Ctrl J, it is getting dimmer. Now it's off. Now what do? You click the first and click the end, the four layers. How do you select all together? You click the first one, hold your shift down, and click on the next one. Then after that, what do? You press Ctrl E. What is Ctrl E? You're asking it to merge. It has merged it. Before, after, before, after. Now this is one way that you can have knowing all this is going to make your workflow easier. And how I shot this image, having this kind of beautiful background, you can see that I didn't do this in Photoshop. I didn't change color in Photoshop. I didn't use hue and saturation. This is how I shot this image. So we'll be doing so much. We'll be doing so much in this community, from shoot to what, to edit. Please, at this point, if you've not subscribed, please do. and also click on the notification bell so that once we post our video, YouTube is going to notify you. Like, share, and also what? And also comment. Now we have successfully finished editing our background. Then we can now move into what? Editing the what? The image. Is that clear? Is that understood? Okay, I believe that is well understood, is well very much understood. If you don't understand, please please go back and do what? And watch this video again from this point so that you get more understanding. You don't need to disturb yourself, you don't need to be worried, you don't need to be angry if you don't understand. It's the first time. You go back, rewatch the video, you understand. Now this layer that has, remember this one we said is our what? Image. So that means for we to edit this picture, we need to work on this what? Image layer. This other two layer upwards are what we call what? Background layer. That's where the background is. That's where we worked on the background without it affecting our what? Image. Our image is still what? Still. So now let's move over to what? An image. Now when you come to your image, there's what we call what? Frequency what? Separation. How does Photoshop sees an image? Photoshop sees an image in two splits. One part of the split has the color, the other part has the what? The texture. So we are going to divide this image into what? The color parts and the what? The texture parts. So what do I have to do? I have to duplicate this one, this layer, this image layer. I will name this image copy. I will name it texture. I will name this other image color. I will hide this texture so that I can work on the word color. Now this color, you come to filter. This process is called frequency separation. We come to filter. We come to filter. We click Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur. Woo! Look at our image. It's blurred out. The blur is too much. This kind of blur you don't need it on your what? On your image. You need it on your where? What? Background. I'm taking it to 4. At 0, you can see the texture. You increase it to the point so much that you don't notice the texture anymore. I'm increasing. Look at 9. No, these are 1.3, 2.4, 2.8, 3.5, 4.3. I think it's too blur for me. I think I'm okay at 3.6. The image, I'm not seeing it. I think that the amount of texture I've lost, I'm okay with it. Let me increase it to 4. The amount of texture I've lost, I'm okay with it. I'll click on what? Okay. Then I will now go to the texture layer and work on the texture layer. I'll open it up. I'll come to image. Come to apply image. Now apply image. Now look at some is it adjustments that you're going to make. This place that is written merge, you will choose color. This other side multiply, you choose what? Subtract. Are you seeing it? You choose subtract. Then scale should be at 2, offset 128. In case your scale is not at 2, take it to 2. If your offset is now 128, please take it to 128. Then you click on your what? Okay. Then you come to blend mode. This place written normal. You click it and you choose what? Linear light. Now what did you notice? Gray color or ash color has disappeared. So what have we done? We have successfully separated the color aspect of this image from the texture aspects. So now look at the texture and color. I will click on the first one, that first layer, and I'll click on the texture layer and click on the what? Color layer, and press Ctrl G to group it, which I have done so successfully. Now, what is texture? As the name implies, texture. The lines of the face, the blemishes, all that. That's all about what? Texture. Now, on this texture layer, that's where you remove anything that has to do with blemish. I'll work on the texture layer. Can you see those small pimples? We call it blemishes. Hold your Alt. You are using your clone stamp to work on this texture. As the name implies, clone stamp. You hold your Alt. You sample a layer that you want. I think this layer, you always sample a layer that is close to where you want to replace, so that it's going to have the same color and the same texture. I will not come and sample the eye. Look at the eye here. Maybe I sample, I hold the Alt and then you click and come and place it here. It's not making sense. So what do you have to do? You hold your Alt and you sample that area. You do that for every blemishes around. So I'll be removing blemishes. So look at before. Let's look at the before of the blemish and the after. Before, after, before, after. So now it's time for we to move over to what? To the color, to balance the color of the skin. We click on the brush to mixer brush tool. Now look at the properties bar of the mixer brush. I'm having all on 30-30, wet 30, low 30, mix 30, flow is at what? 40. Are you seeing it? Now make sure, sorry, always make sure, in case you're having something here, maybe a color, or if you're not having a blank canvas here, this is a sign of a blank canvas. Always click on that drop down arrow and choose what? Clean brush. Probably now is white. Look at what I clicked, is white. So you deselect this one, and always you should always be on this other one. Clean what? Brush. You can see the properties of my what? Mixer brush. And you start brushing through. You brush gently and carefully. Now the dark should be around the dark. You brush the highlights, the brighter parts with the brighter parts. You don't brush, maybe dragging dark part of it to the bright part of it is wrong. Like what I just did now. Do Ctrl Z back. That's how you brush. Like I'm rolling it, like kind of. You brush gently and carefully so that you don't distort your image. Hope you're seeing what I'm doing. Come to the hand. Let's take a look at our before and our after. Before, after. Before, after. Before, after. Patience, patience. This requires so much patience. Now, so far so good. We've come to this point on this image. Let's take a look at how far we've come. Now, we've not color graded. Look at the before of this image and the after. Hope you are noticing difference. Before and the after. Like the image is not spoiled, it's not distorted, it's not looking fake, it's not looking over edited. It's still natural. Everything about the image is still there. The pose, the shape, and everything about the image is still there. So this is a constructive way of what? Of photo retouching. It's not destructive in any way. At this point, importing of our picture to working with it in Camera Raw, bringing it into Photoshop, differentiating a background from a subject, working on the background, working on the subject, frequency separation, and all that. So at this point, we've successfully edit a picture, and this picture is ready for the client to work. We'll now color grading to this. I want to make this video longer than necessary so that we'll not be bored with it and all that. But save this work and we'll come back to it to do what? To color grade.